guys, my name is Jasmine, and I am your small town Grey Witch here to talk to you about all the different types of psychic gifts, also known as the clairs. Now, why do we call them clairs? Clair is the word, it's a Latin root word for clear, and each psychic gift starts with the beginning of clair. So clear and then the word. We will see this as I describe each one of them, and it will make a little more sense. Now, there are 8 psychic gifts that 10 to people have. These are known in different forms of your senses. So, you'll see different senses being involved. Everybody has at least one, but multiple people will have multiple gifts. Pretty just how you tap into your own body and your own psychic abilities and your own mentality that brings these different gifts specifically out. So, what are they? We'll go over them as a list. The first one I want to talk to you about is clairvoyance. You guys might have seen this a lot in horror movies. It is also known as remote viewing. Clairvoyance is clear seeing. So this is tapping into the sense of sight. So, where do we see these in the movies? You'll see this when, for instance, if you are a Conjuring fan, you'll know that Lorraine tends to go on these little journeys where she'll see different spirits after she's been in a trance. She'll see what's been going on, almost as if she's out of body experiencing. So they do that out of body experience for movie purposes, but what she's being is clairvoyant. She is seeing the different rooms. She is seeing the different specters. How do we see this? Now, we see this in our mind's eye. So are we seeing it in front of us like we are seeing this screen or we're seeing the desk? Not necessarily. But we are seeing it in our mind's eye. So, let's do a little bit of exercise, if you can, with me to see if this gift is even possible for you. I want you to shut your eyes. Just relax, shut your eyes, take a couple deep breaths in. We'll do it together. Deep breath in and deep breath out. Deep breath in and deep breath out. One more. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. And calm, drop your shoulders, relax. And I want you to picture an apple. I want you to picture it in 3D, in your mind's eye. So picture it in your head. Is this apple, what color is it? Is it green? Is it red? Is it yellow? Is it one of the softer apples or is it one of the crisp apples? Does it have a stem on it? Does it have the little bumps on top, or is it perfectly round orbital? How does it look to you? Does it have any blemishes? Once you have the perfect apple in your hand, I want you to open your eyes, and I'll give you a few minutes. So that is your mind's eye. Right now, we're focusing on an apple. But when it comes to spirits, I want you to try practicing that with different objects. Because when you're starting to meditate and you clear your mind completely, different things will come in, and it's best to know your mind's eye and what it's going to produce versus a different aspect coming in. So something you're open to, or a spirit. The more you can picture things in your mind, the better you'll be able to know your own almost sight. You'll be able to know if you're kind of coming up with something or if this just kind of floated in from a different source. So it's a really good practical technique to kind of be able to learn yourself, to be able to differentiate yourself from different things. Now, some people sitting on this screen, maybe not you, but some people, I bet you guys were not able to picture the apple. Every time you tried to, all you got was like either black or static or certain things like that. This is actually kind of common. a lot of people can't use their mind's eye. It just shuts down. It's just not their gift. And that's okay. Maybe a different gift is yours. But it's a good way to tell if you can't picture an apple, this might not be your gift. And that's okay. But at least you can know if this is, in fact, a possibility for you. Now, remote viewing or second sight is what you're going to hear as. So if someone says, hey, I have remote viewing or second sight, that's what they're talking about, just so you're aware. All right, let's move on to the second one. Clear, and yes, I have notes down here, so that way I'm peeking down. Clear audience. Clear audience is, what do you think about an audience? You're thinking of them clapping and cheering, so you're thinking about hearing things. So clear audience is hearing. It's clear hearing, clear audience. All right? What is clear audience? It's when you're hearing things that necessarily aren't there. So one thing that I like to do with this one to kind of hone this skill is, yes, it's a meditative technique. So if you are bad at sitting with yourself, I'm sorry, this is going to be challenging, but just keep practicing. Sit with yourself and you'll have your thoughts kind of come in. And these are usually in voice form. So like if you've ever had a conversation with yourself in your head, that's your internal voice. But try to push that voice, just let it come into your head and then move it to the side and focus on the breathing again. Come into your head, focus on the breathing again. And that will get you to learn your internal voice. So when you hear something that isn't your internal voice, you'll know the difference. One way to get this gift a little stronger with spirit, especially if you're working with one particularly, or even just spirits in general, is write down a question you have and then sit and listen. And again, every time your voice comes up, just, it is what it is, and then let it fade out. Focus on your breathing, and eventually you'll be able to hear voices that aren't yours. Usually they start with like one word things, like a yes or a no. So start with easy questions. Yes and no questions are awesome. So start with easy questions. And you'll hear a voice in your head that isn't yours because you know yours. So it's a good practicing skill. It will take time. All these gifts take time, so keep practicing. Even I have to keep practicing on some of them. So just really practice, okay? Don't get hard on yourself, in other words. All right. Next is clear sentience or clear sensing. Clear feeling. And you might have heard this, a really good option for this or example of this is empaths. They have that feeling emotion inside of them. So they're taking on the feelings around them and they're feeling that. That is clear sentience. All right? So, one, I want to say cautionary tale to empaths is a lot of people think they're empaths, but they're really actually trauma response people. Not so much that they deal with other people's traumas, but they've had traumas and a traumatic childhood especially, that they've learned to almost observe other people's body language and emotional energy so that way they can actually work around it and survive. We see this a lot of kids we see this in a lot with kids who have had parents who basically have trigger hair, anger issues, or are very manic, where the kid is constantly predicting what they can do to not anger their parent, because that's a survival technique to kids. And they've learned how to read body language, sense different energies, to be able to predict what their parents are going to do or their abuser is going to do, how to cope with that, to not make the abuser angry and abuse them more. It's a very sad thing, but it's not an empath concept. It is a trauma response. It's a way of survival that has been learned through your body. It is not a psychic ability. And a lot of people who are living in that survival state believe that they are empaths, but really it is a survival state for them. And that is sad, but it is what it is. So when I'm talking about empaths, I'm talking about people who truly have this psychic ability to feel others' emotions. It's not a trauma response. I don't know how to tell the difference between a trauma response and actually being an empath. I'm not an empath, and I really suggest you get counseling if you're nervous about this issue. If you think that you could be trauma responding instead of an empath, if that's even a thought in your head, counseling is probably the best way to go. All right? So put that aside. Noted. So, empaths tend to feel other people's emotions. The best thing that they can do if you're one of these people, from what I've heard, I do have a friend who does this, is create an egg around you. Try to create that shell so you're not taking in as much as you think you are. It takes energy work, meditation, and it's hard. I would look into books that are about being empaths if you think that is your gift. I'm sorry, I don't have more for you on that. Alright? However, we get clear feeling and clear sensing. So clear sensing would be more of the empathic, and even clear feeling slightly. But this is correlating to the sensation of touch as well. Clear feeling. So it's not just emotional states. It's also a physical touch. This is where I more relate to this. When you're dealing with a certain entity, you may feel a certain touch. For instance, when I'm dealing with Michael and I know he's around, I feel one hand on my right shoulder kind of guiding me. That is also a form of clairsentience. Sorry. I've been getting a lot. So, clairsentience, that is also a form. If that shiver down your spine lets you know that someone is around you that isn't actually a person, that would also be a form of clairsentience. I used to get this really bad with certain deities, just mostly on my shoulders. I'm very shoulder sensitive.